Hey, it's good to see so many of you. So I want you to picture this. The relentless thunk, thunk, thunk of a knife against a wooden chopping board. The sizzle as oil meets something fresh, maybe steak, maybe onion, maybe both. The shout behind as a line cook whips past with a scalding pan and a dish is placed on the pass, perfectly plated for the head chef's approval. They taste the sauce, they give the nod, a deep inhale, and then hands. And what does any of that have to do with designing websites that convert better? Well, I think everything, because the way we design and build websites is no different to the way we do it in hospitality and in between restaurants and websites. If we switch to front of house, the waiting staff are tending to the tables covered in white linen tablecloths. The room is full today for a fray of birthdays, business dinners, anniversaries, and the odd, nervous-looking couple on their first date. Piano keys ring out. The temperature is warm and welcoming, and the vibes are good. The awaiting restaurant floor has no idea of the meticulous work and dedication that has gone into every step of their experience. But here's what they do know. When they first stepped in that restaurant, they knew whether that place was worth their time, their money, and their attention. Sound familiar? I'm Pete, and I spent the last 15 years dedicated to creating places and spaces to host people. My parents met working in hospitality. My dad was a chef and my mum was a waitress, so I grew up surrounded by the concept of kitchens. And then in my early adulthood, I worked in theatre and live events. On the occasional school day off, my dad would wake me early and he would put me on the back of his motorbike and we would zoom off to his kitchen. I remember arriving, seeing all of the stainless steel, helping to prepare eggs for breakfast and serve lunch to awaiting customers. And I believe that good user experience is good hospitality, and good hospitality is good user experience. A great website is created, it's crafted, it doesn't happen by accident. 10 years ago, I co-founded Steadfast Collective, a development agency focused on leaving the internet better than we found it. And 5 years into that journey, I had an anxiety attack I just couldn't shake. It was during COVID. What are the chances? My inbox felt like a bomb. I couldn't stomach food, and a big black cloud followed me everywhere. So I spoke to a mentor, and they suggested that I point out the projects that really sparked something in me and brought me joy. And it happened to be that the projects and the businesses that were building community and membership were the ones that were doing just so. See, it had taken an anxiety attack to bring clarity that since I was little, what has brought me joy is community and shared experiences. And then since that inflection point, we've really doubled down on working with membership organizations. So we wrote a couple of books about community and digital platforms. I actually have a stack of these over there for afterwards if you want to grab one. But what I've learned through my upbringing in hospitality, hosting events, and then building membership platforms that are used by millions is this. It's time to stop looking online for inspiration and look outside to the real world. The internet as we know it is 30 years old. But hospitality, customer service, trying to get people to spend slightly more money than they're expecting, well, that's been around forever. The idea, that's been around forever. Words. Okay, let's skip this bit. Close your eyes. Just bear with me, close your eyes. Think of the last great restaurant experience you had. What encouraged you to order that extra bottle of wine? What was the temperature like? What was the music? What was the vibes? What were the waiting staffing wearing? Okay, thanks for indulging me. So I'm going to map those 3 moments of hospitality in a restaurant guest journey along with a landing page. So we have arrival, atmosphere, and appetite. When you enter a restaurant, notice how the welcome team welcome you. They take your coat, they seat you, and they greet you. Those 3 skills have been honed over generations to make you feel something. There's no second guessing what to do or where to be. And then think about your best performing landing page right now. Think about that first click, that first headline, that first scroll. Your users are thinking, is this for me? Am I in the right place? Do I feel safe? And too often the answer is, I'm not sure. You see, your website doesn't have 30 seconds to convince someone they're in the right place. Not 1 second, but according to a senior researcher at YouTube, 0.05 seconds. And when I'm trying to decide if a restaurant is suitable for me, I'm looking at things like the size of the menu. Is the menu too small? Is it too big? Suspiciously too big. You know, when you see the double pages and you think, this can't be all good. I'm thinking about whether they're going to judge my kids for dropping food on the floor, and I'm thinking if that bolognese is going to be any better than I can make at home. We're making judgments all the time. And in that split decision, I'm deciding whether or not that place is worth my time, my effort, my money. Let me show you an example. So this is a landing page for Laravel Nightwatch. It's a monitoring tool that came out fairly recently. Laravel is the world's most popular PHP framework. We work a lot in Laravel, so this felt like a natural fit for us. And I want to just point out a few things. First of all, that massive header at the top. Don't be afraid of the dark. They're obviously leaning into the name of the tool. It makes a lot of sense. And we've got, 3 colors, white, black, and blue. It's so obvious we need to click the blue. We scroll down, and then quite quickly, they're addressing our first concern when it comes to monitoring solutions. So a monitoring solution would log errors in a website or an application. Quite often, they're a pain in the arse to set up. They require kind of server config, and they're just a nightmare. And the idea that they have identified that and picked it out straight away instantly is building that credibility that I'm in the right place and I should keep scrolling. Then they're showing us what it looks like. It's amazing how many landing pages don't show people what the thing should look like. And they did a great work on their design, and in doing so, they're gonna shout about it. So many monitoring tools are not designed by designers, they're designed by developers, which is never a good start. So they're gonna show us that, and then they're gonna reward our scroll. So we've got this lovely triangle where it's nice and big at the top, and then I'm getting more and more information as I go down. So a lovely triangle. And I'm being rewarded for scrolling. If I had got this amount of information at the top, it would have been overwhelmed, and I would have bounced. We then hit a customer review. Can't go wrong. FAQs. I love FAQs. I think they are the pinnacle of what a great landing page should finish with. For us, they always work incredibly well. So we use this exact methodology on this client, which is the B1% Foundation. We built this website about 5 years ago, long before Nightwatch came out, but it's the same ideas. And when we launched this site, we saw a 57% decrease in bounce rate. Now, if you were in the last talk, bounce rate basically means someone comes in and then leaves again. So we used a lot of the similar methodologies on this site, and we saw a huge improvement. Let's go on to atmosphere. A great restaurant sets the tone through menu design, decor, uniform, pricing, lighting, sound, and your website does the same. Spacing, photography, imagery, it's all setting atmosphere. Let me give you an example. I don't know about you, but if I sit in a restaurant and there's no music playing and I can hear someone over there chewing, I actually start to feel a little bit uneasy. Or perhaps the music is so loud I can't actually have a conversation with the person I'm with. And what is the soundtrack? Is it French jazz in a burger restaurant, or is it something more suitable? And then think about your landing page, that one I asked you to think about earlier. What is the soundtrack of your landing page? Is it an academic website where it's full of content and it needs to be crammed to the rafters because that's what the context requires? Or are you trying to build anticipation? Does it need space? Does it need room to breathe? With a restaurant, you often have the two extremes. You have that small boutique place that no one really knows of, has an incredible set menu, and is incredibly expensive, and then you can go to somewhere and get your food in a box and go. And I want you to think about which one of your landing page is. Is it the sort of restaurant where you want people to come and feast and dine and hang out? Or do you want them to get the information and leave? Both is absolutely fine. Both serve very different purposes depending on your business. It's just really important you understand the difference, because if you're trying to do both, you're appeasing no one. Let's look at another example. This is Monzo. They're a challenger bank. And I say that out of jest because I don't think we can call them a challenger bank anymore. I think they're just a bank now. And what I love about their homepage is it's not designed for me. So I've been a Monzo customer for a long, long time. A lot of my friends are Monzo customers. And I know this landing page isn't designed for me because of the next slide, which I'll show you in a second. But essentially, they have this thing where obviously it's a financial institution. It's not your classic NatWest, Barclays, HSBC, whoever. You're trying to build trust and trust and trust. Can we trust these people with our money? And for someone like my parents, that's a big step, going from a traditional high street bank onto someone like a challenger bank. So they're going to be constantly building trust. We can see that throughout here. And this next slide is why I know it's designed for them and not for me, is this. It's so obvious. Tell me about bank accounts, saving, investments. This couldn't be a more designed for my parents' block if it tried. It is so clearly trying just to tell people we do the basics and we do it well. It's also just huge. The font on this website is unbelievable. I'm not sure what happened, but it must check every accessibility box because it is huge. And then what they're going to do is they're going to say, look, these are the things that your bank doesn't do. This is what your bank is worried about. These are the things we don't do. And then they're going to bring it back, and they're going to go, but look, my clicker stopped working. Oh, we're there. OK, perfect. Then they're going to say, look at this incredible trust building, and then we're going to go on to the next slide, and we're going to say, look, these are things that your bank doesn't do, but it's all focused on security. The whole focus of this page is to get you to trust Monzo with their money. We then go down, look, you can even use it with no phone. It's a miracle. And then we've got some great trust building just the way through. And the whole thing is just a trust building exercise for somebody like my parents. So I'm going to finish with appetite. The best servers don't push. They create appetite. They describe the sizzling steak, or they tell you that there's only a few chocolate soufflés left. And by the way, they take 20 minutes to cook, so you might as well order it now. You want your website to do the same. You want to create that appetite. There's a really great, there's loads of great research on menu psychology, and I really suggest in your light reading, you dig into it, because it's fascinating. For instance, if you remove the currency symbol from a menu, spending increases. If you create scarcity, spending increases. We know that restaurants are strategically placing high-value items. No one's ordering the cheapest bottle of wine. No one's ordering the most expensive bottle of wine. We're all ordering the third one, or a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, because we want to be safe and we don't want to look to be cheap. We know that's what people are doing, and the psychology around menus is fascinating, and we can bring that over to landing pages. So this is Memorizely. They are a UX bootcamp. It's run by Xander, the guy in the bottom left, and he creates these Instagram shorts. They get loads of views. He's really popular in the UX design space for creating these funny little videos. And this is their bootcamp. And they do a great job of creating appetite, making it feel like you are missing out. So this right-hand section here, it floats down, so it screenshots a little bit weird, but you'll see. But what they do a great job of doing is making it feel like you are the only UX designer on the planet who hasn't done this course. And how are you ever going to get a job at Uber if you haven't done this course? And they're not just telling you, oh, it's like a bunch of PDFs that you can download and do in your own time. They're creating scarcity and immediacy through live workshops. Literally, there's a date and a time where you need to attend this live thing. There's an immediacy. If you miss it, it's gone. You don't know when the next cohort's going to be. And they're creating this time and time again. It's less about building trust, more about feeling like, almost like giving FOMO. It's like creating FOMO for those who haven't done it. 25,000 designers have done it, and you haven't? Are you crazy? Like, come on, join. And this bit made me laugh. Nothing to do with conversion rates, but it really made me tickle. I don't know how many of you manage somebody else's training budget, but if a team member of mine came up and said, by the way, I found this incredible UX bootcamp, and it's completely free, it just comes out of training budget, I think they would be off their rocker. This is incredible. Like, whoever thought of this section, I think they deserve a cookie, because the idea that an individual would go, oh, it's $99, or it's free, it's obviously not free. I really enjoyed that. It tickled me immensely. And then we end with FAQs. You can't go wrong with an FAQ at the end. It's great for building authority, it's great for answering those questions, and ultimately, you're again rewarding people who have made it to the bottom of your landing pages. So we've talked about the arrival, we've talked about creating the atmosphere, and we've talked about creating the appetite. And I'm going to close with this. Never underestimate the intelligence of your audience, or never overestimate their previous experience. So never underestimate their intelligence, and never overestimate their previous experience. It's an assumption people often make, and it's assumptions that we see all the time in real-world user experience. Whether you're going up to a zebra crossing or whether you're going into a cafe, a train station, there's assumptions constantly made about how we are going to interact with the surroundings around us. I'll give one example, the QR code. The QR code at a restaurant. The amount of assumptions that have been made around a QR code in a restaurant blows my mind. They're assuming I know what a QR code is. They're assuming that I have a device that can scan it. It has data, it has battery, or there's Wi-Fi. They're assuming that I am able to see the QR code, so I'm not visually impaired, and so on and so on. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried ordering off a QR code menu with a 5 and a 2-year-old, but it's possibly the least fun you can have at a restaurant forever. The amount of assumptions that have been made there is just unbelievable. And I would almost hesitate to say it's actually just poor accessibility. It's poor hospitality. It's convenience for them, and it's more effort for us. So tonight, when you go out for your drink, you go out to a restaurant, I want you to notice the arrival, the atmosphere, the appetite. Think about how it makes you feel. Think about the emotions it stirs up. And then think about, lastly, what real-world experiences can you learn from today that will better shape and transform the way you act as the maitre d' to your website? Thank you very much.